Did you know that traditional gardening can contribute to environmental pollution? Quite the shocking revelation, isn't it? It's a truth that's often overlooked, but traditional gardening methods can indeed have a negative impact on our environment. Think of the gallons upon gallons of water that are often overused, not to mention the introduction of non-native plants that can disrupt local ecosystems. And we can't forget about those harmful fertilizers and pesticides. They may keep our gardens looking lush and bug-free, but at what cost to our surroundings and the creatures that inhabit them? This might seem a bit disheartening, especially if you hold a green thumb. After all, gardening is often seen as a way to connect with nature, not harm it. But before you hang up your gardening gloves, there's some good news. There's a better way to garden, a way that's beneficial for both you and the planet. So, stay tuned as we delve into the world of eco-friendly gardening. One of the most effective ways to reduce waste and enrich your soil naturally is composting. This is not just a statement, it's a simple truth. Composting, for those who may not know, is the process of turning organic waste into nutrient-rich soil. It's a bit like turning trash into treasure, but for your garden. So why compost? Well, there are several benefits. For starters, it reduces the amount of waste that ends up in our landfills. Did you know that more than half of what we throw away could be composted instead? It's true, and it's a shame to see all that potential go to waste. Composting also helps to enrich the soil in your garden. It adds nutrients, improves soil structure, and can even help to suppress plant diseases. But how do you start a compost pile? It's easier than you might think. All you need is a mix of green and brown organic materials. Green materials are things like vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, and grass clippings. They provide nitrogen, which is essential for composting. Brown materials, on the other hand, are things like leaves, straw, and paper. They provide carbon, which is also crucial. The key to a successful compost pile is balance. You want to aim for a ratio of about 3 parts brown materials to 1 part green. And remember, size matters. A compost pile needs to be at least 3 feet wide and 3 feet tall to maintain the right temperature for decomposition. Now, it's important to note that not everything can be composted. Avoid adding things like meat, dairy, and diseased plants, as they can attract pests or spread diseases. And while composting does require a bit of work, turning the pile every few weeks to keep it aerated and speed up the decomposition process, the end result is worth it. Remember, composting is an ongoing process, but the rewards are well worth the effort. So why not give it a try? Your garden and the environment will thank you. Choosing native plants for your garden not only saves water but also supports local wildlife. Let's dive into the world of native plants and discover why they're the unsung heroes of sustainable gardening. Native plants are those that have evolved naturally in a region, adapted to the local soil, climate conditions, and co-evolved with local wildlife. This makes them a dream come true for the eco-conscious gardener. First off, native plants are water savers. Imagine this. They've spent thousands of years adapting to the local rainfall patterns and soil moisture levels, so they're more likely to thrive with the natural rainfall in your area, meaning less reliance on artificial watering. In a world where every drop of water counts, this is a big win. Secondly, native plants tend to require less maintenance. They're already used to the local conditions, so they don't need as much pampering as some exotic or non-native species might. They're less likely to need fertilizers or pesticides, which are not only a drain on your wallet, but can also harm the environment. But the benefits don't stop there. Native plants are like a local eatery for wildlife, providing a familiar menu for birds, insects, and other local fauna. This is a great way to support local biodiversity. Many native plants offer food and shelter for local wildlife, from providing nectar for bees and butterflies to offering shelter for nesting birds. By choosing native plants, you're not just creating a garden, you're creating a habitat. So how do you start choosing native plants for your garden? It all begins with a bit of research. Find out which plants are native to your area. Consider your garden's conditions, the amount of sunlight, the type of soil, the local climate. Then choose plants that are well suited to these conditions. Remember, gardening is a journey. You might not get everything right the first time, and that's okay. The most important thing is to keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep striving to make your garden a little greener, a little more sustainable, and a lot more supportive of local wildlife. Remember, the best garden is the one that works with nature, not against it. Water is a precious resource, and there are many ways we can conserve it in our gardens. Let's delve into the practical methods of water conservation in the garden. One of the simplest and most effective ways is by using a rain barrel. By capturing rainwater, we can tap into a free, sustainable source of water for our plants. It's a win-win situation. We conserve water and our plants get to enjoy the soft, chemical-free rainwater they love. Next, let's talk about drip irrigation. This method is a real game changer. It delivers water directly to the base of the plants, minimizing evaporation and runoff. Compared to traditional sprinklers, drip irrigation can use up to 50% less water. Plus, it encourages healthier plant growth by reducing the water sitting on the leaves, which can lead to disease. But water conservation doesn't stop at irrigation methods. It's also about the plants we choose to grow. Have you ever considered drought-tolerant plants? These hardy varieties can thrive with less water, making them perfect for an eco-friendly garden. They come in all shapes and sizes, from succulents to perennials, adding diverse beauty to your garden while saving water. Mulching is another valuable technique. By covering the soil around your plants with a layer of organic material, you can reduce evaporation, suppress weeds, and keep the soil temperature stable. This not only saves water but also makes your plants happier and healthier. Finally, don't forget about the timing of your watering. Watering in the early morning or late evening can significantly reduce evaporation. It's a small adjustment, but every bit helps when it comes to conserving water. So there you have it, some practical and effective ways to conserve water in your garden. From rain barrels to drought-tolerant plants, there's something for every gardener. Remember, it's not just about saving water, it's about creating a sustainable garden that respects and cherishes our environment. Every drop counts, so make sure your garden is part of the solution, not the problem. A diverse garden is a healthy garden, a motto well known among gardening enthusiasts. And for a good reason. Picture a garden teeming with a variety of plants, buzzing with insects, and teeming with birds. This is biodiversity at work. And it's not just aesthetically pleasing, it's a key strategy for a healthier, more sustainable garden. Promoting biodiversity starts with creating a welcoming habitat for wildlife. You see, the presence of various creatures like birds, bees, and butterflies is a sign of a healthy ecosystem. By providing food and shelter, you invite these beneficial creatures into your garden. Think birdhouses, bee hotels, and butterfly bushes. Then, there's the matter of plant variety. A diverse range of plants means a diverse range of nutrients in the soil, which leads to a healthier, more resilient garden. It's like a buffet for your garden's inhabitants. They'll have a variety of food sources, meaning they're more likely to stick around. And let's not forget about the soil. A diverse soil ecosystem is just as important. Good soil is teeming with microorganisms that help break down organic matter, making nutrients more accessible to your plants. These microorganisms also help improve soil structure, making it easier for roots to penetrate and water to infiltrate. Avoiding pesticides is another crucial step. These chemicals may keep pests at bay, but they also harm beneficial insects and disrupt the natural balance of your garden. Instead, consider natural alternatives like companion planting or introducing predator insects. But promoting biodiversity is not just about what's good for your garden, it's about what's good for the planet. Gardens are microcosms of larger ecosystems. The more diverse your garden, the more it contributes to the overall biodiversity of your region. And with biodiversity under threat globally, every little bit helps. So, as you plan your garden, remember that variety is more than just the spice of life. It's the lifeblood of a healthy ecosystem. Remember, your garden is part of a larger ecosystem. By promoting biodiversity, you're helping to support a healthier planet. Now that you know how to create an eco-friendly garden, it's time to put that knowledge into action. Imagine the satisfaction you'll feel as you watch your garden thrive, knowing that you're making a real difference to the environment. You're not just growing plants, you're cultivating life, fostering biodiversity, and building a small but significant sanctuary for our planet. Start by composting your kitchen waste, transforming it into nutrient-rich soil. Next, choose native plants that naturally thrive in your area, reducing the need for excessive water and maintenance. Implement water conservation methods that make every drop count, and remember to promote biodiversity, encouraging a variety of life to inhabit your garden. The power to create a sustainable future is in your hands, right there in your own backyard. So get your gloves on, pick up that trowel, and start planting the seeds of change. Share what you've learned today with others, and together we can create a greener future.